In this episode of INN CEO Talks, we have a repeat visit from John Carlesso of FenixOro with some really exciting and interesting news. FenixOro is FENX on the CSE, but you also trade in the United States on the OTC, correct? Under what symbol?
Yeah, OTCQB FDVXF.
Okay, I can kind of hardly contain myself here, but just to give a little bit of background, when we last talked back in September, you had just received your licenses to start drilling. You anticipated that you would have some results in early December. They've come through, and they're pretty exciting, aren't they?
Yeah, we're very early in the program still, but we're pretty pleased with the results so far. We're hitting everything that makes up this Buritica style, quote unquote, mineralization that we're chasing, so to speak. What is Buritica style? It's a combination of very high grade gold with additional or interstitial zones of wider zones of lower grade mineralization. And we're seeing both. We're hitting all the targets we're aiming for. We're finding new ones. We're seeing a lot of correlation between high-grade mine workings on surface and soil sample anomalies that were giving us an indication there was more there than we could see. We're finding those are really good indicators that there are vein structures underground. I would say very successful across the board. We hit our highest interval, I think 71 grams per ton. That's super high grade by anybody's definition.
Yeah, I
And
think
I
that
think
might
we're
even be an understatement. It's more than super, isn't it? It's extraordinary. I had to double check to make sure that I was reading that right.
Yeah, it's I think our next phase, our next challenge here is to try and connect some of these zones together. That was in hole one, which is at the southern end of a vein structure that has a strike length of, to our understanding, at least 1,200 meters on surface, along surface. There's about
Hmm.
20 historical mines along that 1.2 kilometer trend on surface. We're about to drill hole five, which is at the other end of that vein structure. And if we can connect those together, it's arm waving in early stage, but you can start to get imagine how you might have some tonnage with these kind of grades that one day you could look forward and say, hey, look, we're going to have potential to build a mine here. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
Well, at the moment, it is unfolding as you had anticipated, is the way that I read it. And of course, you've got the experience of Stuart Muller, who has been here before. What's his take right now on what he's seeing?
Stu was excited to get going. He's very pleased with the results. I think, we're all on kind of pins and needles, looking forward to the next few holes that we're drilling and planning those out. And we're awaiting some results, as I said, from hole five right now as we speak. Visually, it looks really interesting. So our expectations as high as they've been for some of our earlier holes. Yeah, Stu is as excited as he's been. He's very optimistic.
So you say that you've got some drills still going in the ground. When can we expect our next update on what you're going to be pulling out of the ground there?
We have results in the lab. There are still a few kind of leftover stragglers from holes three and four, and the entirety of hole five is in the lab. We just finished drilling that
Mm.
just before the Christmas break. So I think the 23rd, they shut down the drill for the holidays. They just ramped up, turned it on again on Monday, starting hole six. But to answer your question, yeah, we are waiting on primarily on hole five, the entirety of hole five, which is going to be a very exciting hole. We hope that really starts to tell a story of some continuity here that we've got on surface.
And depending on what you believe will be the outcome here, what's your next stage? Where do you go from here once you've completed this drilling program?
Um, we've arbitrarily said the first half of this program is going to be 10 holes. So as I said, we've just started drilling six. There's going to be 3 drilled in this area that we're in now. I could see us potentially going back to the area of hole 1 because of the results that we got in the bottom of that hole, that super high grade. Um, you know, perhaps drilling a couple more in that area to see how that extends. There are several other workings and small mines in the immediate vicinity there that we haven't tested. Um, we have a couple of other concepts that we'd like to test to the west. So we've got a number of things in front of us still. We're scratching the surface here, as I said, with the number of targets. The area in the south as well has a new soil anomaly and the highest sample that our sampling program has generated at 146 grams. So there's an interesting target that we haven't drilled yet that we're anxious to get on. So lots of work to do, many exciting things ahead of us. 2021 hopefully gets off to a great start.
Yeah, still early days for you, but it looks like you're getting very promising results that are in keeping with what you thought you would see, especially based on the general geography in the area. Just before we wrap up, let's give viewers just a recap on just how gold rich this zone is. We're talking about a very, very productive and prolific gold region.
It is. We're at the northern end of a 200-kilometer belt that has produced, I would say you're close to 100 million ounces of new discoveries in the past 10 years. That's prolific on a world standard. That includes the very famous Buritica mine, was owned by Continental, which was recently sold to Zijin Mining for 1.4 billion about a year ago. We're the closest project to that, about 15 kilometers to the west. And again, it's known for extremely high grades and wider zones of lower grade mineralization. It's that combination of the two that really gives the economics of the real juice here. It makes it very profitable mining. So those are the targets that we're chasing. It's that combination. High grade is always very sexy. It's a lot of sizzle and press releases. People love to read about high grade. It's the combination of the two that really makes the economic impact really, really exciting.
Yes, because it has real potential to be operating site once you get that combination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Within that region, it's well known for those types of grades. Lots of historic mining. There's over 100 historic small mines, legal small mines. Not all of them are operating today. That we know of. We're discovering some in our drilling too, which is interesting. And the other aspect of this that makes it so unique, if we look at Buritica for an example, their current or their last reported resource was just over 11 million ounces, almost 12 million ounces. It's not on a very large surface area, for the reason that the vein continuity from depth goes down more than a kilometer. We're seeing the same kind of continuity at depth on the Abriaqui project where we are. So that's pretty exciting too, because we know we're going to have that. You don't need miles and miles in this type of system to find millions of ounces of gold because it runs so deep. These are mesothermal veins and they have a little different characteristics. So we're seeing at least 750, 800 meters of depth from top to bottom so far. So that's also a really exciting aspect.
Wow. So do you have a projection on when you can come back to us with updated results?
As I said, they're in the lab. We're waiting on several, so it's a little out of our control. We like to try to encourage them as much as we can. I'm hoping within another week or two. I'm not sure what their work schedule was over the holidays, but hopefully we can find that out this week. So I'm hoping sooner than later. So stay tuned.
Well, you know that I'm a keen observer, so I want to know, because when something starts to play out the way that you had projected it to, the evidence is there that backs it up. It makes it an exciting proposition. So I look forward to an update with you in the not too distant future. Thank you very much.
I'll look forward to that too. Always a pleasure, Stu. Thanks.
Great. Thanks.